Welcome to Devotionary, where we make the Bible accessible and applicable. This episode launches our new study in the book of Numbers. This book is part of what is called the Pentateuch, a section of the Bible that also includes Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, and Deuteronomy. The word Pentateuch is from the Greek and simply means 5 books. These books are actually considered one book written by one author, Moses, and are referred to as the Torah by the Jews. They also go by the names the Law of Moses, the Book of the Law of Moses, and the Book of Moses. The name of this book, Numbers, is derived from a translation of the Greek Septuagint title, Arithmoi. This name was chosen because of the 2 numberings or censuses commanded by God in the book. As the book opens up, we'll see God providing Moses with instructions for the first of these 2 numberings, in order that the people might be organized for battle. The closer the people got to the land of Canaan, there was a growing need for structure and order. They would need to know how many men they had who could fight. God had a plan, and they would play an important role in it. But first, they would have to be organized and under strong leadership. One day in mid-spring, during the 2nd year after Israel's departure from Egypt, the Lord spoke to Moses in the tabernacle in the wilderness of Sinai. He said, "Take a census of the whole community of Israel by their clans and families. List the names of all the men 20 years old and older who are able to go to war." Numbers 1, verses 1 through 3. It's been a year and a half since the Israelites left Egypt. The tabernacle has been up 1 whole month. Now God comes to Moses and commands him to take a census or a numbering of the people, hence the name of the book. He wants him to count all the males from 20 years old and up. He was not to include the mixed multitude that had left Egypt with them, but only men from the 12 tribes of Israel. No one who was unfit for military service was to be counted. No women or children were to be included in the number. So Moses had everyone arranged according to their tribe, and when the counting was complete, they discovered that there were 603,550 able-bodied men among them. If you add in wives and children, as well as an estimate of how many foreigners were traveling with them, it isn't hard to see that the number of people traveling under Moses' leadership was well over 1.5 million. That's staggering. And the book of Numbers is going to chronicle their nearly 40-year journey through the wilderness. This was a logistical miracle. To travel that long and far with that many people is unprecedented. So why did God have Moses number the people? What could have been his purpose? First of all, it was probably a not-so-subtle reminder that God was keeping the promise he had made to Abraham, that he would multiply his seed exceedingly, which was the same promise he had renewed to Jacob, that his seed should be as the dust of the earth. From their first arrival in Egypt, when their numbers could be counted in the double digits, until now, they could see that God had made good on his promise, so they could trust him to fulfill his promise to give them the land of Canaan as an inheritance. Secondly, part of God's command was to place men in charge of the various tribes and clans. Leadership was going to be critical for this journey. Order was going to be needed. It's a picture of God's care for his people. He knew what they would need in order to survive this wilderness experience. So God put Moses and these other men in positions as shepherds over the people so that they might care for them. God is called the Shepherd of Israel. See Psalms 80, verse 1. So the shepherds always kept count of their flocks and delivered them by number to their under-shepherds, that they might know if any were missing. So in the same way, God numbers his own flock. Thirdly, God seems to go out of his way to differentiate the Israelites from the host of foreigners traveling with them. We don't know how many mixed multitude had left Egypt with them, but it's probably not an insignificant number. So when God commands the census to be taken, he orders that it not include anyone but the sons of Israel. It seems to be a picture of God's care for his own. The Lord knows those that are his, and knows them by name. See Philippians 4:3. The hairs of their heads are numbered. But he will say to others, "I never knew you, never made any account of you." Finally, God seems to be arranging the people in such a way as to facilitate and improve their orderly travel and the administration of justice. This was not going to be an unruly rabble traveling through the wilderness, but a well-ordered army. God only has Moses number the men who are fit for battle, then has Moses arrange them in military rank and file. This is probably a reminder to them that they were going to have to be prepared to fight when they arrived in the land of promise. It was not just going to be handed over to them. They were going to have to learn to follow commands and march in an orderly manner. Can you imagine what it would have been like for 1.5 million people to try and travel through the wilderness without some kind of plan or method to their madness? There would have been tens of thousands of children, hundreds of thousands of animals, and plenty of excuses for chaos and disorder. So God arranges them in troops and provides them with leaders. God is a God of order, not confusion. He has a plan. He has a purpose. He knows exactly what is needed and when it is needed. He can always be trusted. Father, in the church today, you have given us a plan for our orderly functioning in this world. You have appointed leaders and shepherds over your flock. You have given us marching orders and a clear task to accomplish in our days of wandering in this world. Help us to walk according to your way and not our own. You are still a God of order and calm, not confusion. May we live that way together as your people. Amen.